Every month chess.com releases new chess bots, and this August they are back with BBQ bots. There are a total of 5 bots and one of them is the Grill Master, which rating is around 3025. And this bot is inspired by Hikaru Nakamura. In this video I will review an exciting game between Stockfish 17.1 and the Grill Master. Let's jump into the game. As always we have Stockfish 17.1 with white pieces and the Grill Master with black. Stockfish started the game with pawn to d4, then knight to f6 and then bishop to f4. In this game Stockfish played London system. In London system these 5 pieces make pyramid structure. Your dark square bishop on this diagonal, putting pressure on this diagonal. Light square bishop here, knight here and this knight here protecting this knight and queen here. Now queen and bishop makes the battery attacking on this square. Anyway then Hikaru bot plays queen to b6 supporting this pawn and also attacking this pawn. For that, Stockfish plays queen to c2 so that it can protect this pawn. And then pawn takes back. Then Grandmaster plays pawn to g6 so that it can develop his bishop. Then knight to f3 and bishop to f5. Bishop to f5 is attacking this queen which is protecting this pawn. So Stockfish plays queen to b3. Now, in London system these queen placement are very common. Both side player wait for their opponent who capture queen first so that they can take it back and this will open up their rook. Guildmaster take the queen, pawn takes back and now this dark square rook is activated. Then bishop to g7 controlling this diagonal, pawn to b4 and knight to c6. Stockfish played knight to d2 supporting this knight and also it can play here kingside castle and knight to b3. Then Grandmaster bring his knight to the center. Now this knight is controlling even more square. Then Stockfish plays bishop e2 so that it can castle, rook here and then kingside castle. Then black plays pawn to f6 controlling these squares. Pawn to b5 attacking this knight. Knight comes back on d8 square and then knight to c5. Here knight is controlling even more square, also attacking this pawn and this knight. Then pawn to g5 kicking out bishop, bishop back and then knight to d6. Putting pressure on this pawn. Stockfish plays pawn to s3 so that it can stop this pawn and then pawn to e6. Pawn to e6 is nothing but supporting these two pieces. Then pawn to b3. Point of pawn to b3 pushing this pawn here, take and take back and this will make a perfect pawn structure. Now here this bishop can't move on this diagonal because it is blocked by this pawn. Also not here blocked by this pawn. So it come back on g6 square. Now here it is controlling even more squares. Pawn to c4, knight on f7 square and then Stockfish activated his dark square rook. Grill Master plays pawn to b6 so that it can kick out bishop. Here Stockfish played a brilliant move, capturing this pawn. Pawn takes knight, Stockfish takes pawn and also attacking this knight. So knight to e4 and pawn takes another pawn. Now this knight worth 3 points. So Stockfish does equal trade. He captured first pawn 1 point. He captured second pawn 2 points. He captured third pawn 3 points. So he does equal trade. But this brilliant move is not about only equal trade. You can see these 3 pieces are more near to 8th rank. And it is going to be very hard for Hikaru bot to capture these pawns because these pawns are already protected by Stockfish pieces. You might be thinking Hikaru bot can take this pawn because this pawn is not protected by any piece of Stockfish. But that's not true. Let's assume Hikaru bot take this pawn. Then bishop to c4 directly attack to rook. Rook on e8 square, rook to c1. Now this knight is pinned by bishop. So king h8 and then bishop to d5. Attack on this piece and this piece. Rook here, bishop takes back and rook takes pawn. Now here Hikaru bot has taken that pawn which Stockfish takes back now and here Stockfish has a more chance to promote these pawns. Anyway coming back to actual position, Hikaru bot plays knight to h6 protecting the knight. Rook on c1 square so that it can stop this knight from coming here. Knight to f5 attacking on this bishop and blocking this pawn and also controlling even more square. Bishop comes back again, pawn to h5. Pawn to h5 is only for kicking out this knight. Bishop comes on this square, supporting this pawn. Pawn to g4, takes, knight to d2. Knight takes, bishop take it back. Pawn to g3. And here Stockfish plays bishop to c4. Now if this pawn move, then it will be check to king. Pawn takes pawn and check, king takes it back and then knight to h6. Bishop on f4 square so that it can come here and support these pawns. Knight gives check, king g3 and then knight to e5. Then Stockfish pushed it b5 pawn. It is not possible for Hikaru bot to simply take this pawn, otherwise it will come on more dangerous situation. Because in this position Stockfish is more near to 8th rank. So Hikaru plays bishop to e4. Rook takes pawn, rook take back, pawn takes back and bishop on a8 square. Now here I want to reveal you something. You might think this pawn will become queen or this pawn become queen. But what if I told you none of these two pawns will be promoted? Instead this pawn will reach to 8th rank and become queen. Let's see how. Bishop takes knight, pawn takes back, and then rook on d1 square. So that it can come on 7th rank and control even more squares. Bishop on f6 square, bishop to t5, takes, and then pawn to e4. Rook on d7 square, and after some move later, things go up very normally. Black rook was running here and there, and then he comes on e6 square. Then he gives check, king here, again check, here, again check, here, king on e8 square, and checkmate.